Internet, and welcome to the newest episode of Tales of Terragia. I am your dungeon master and cosmic tour guide, Nick Salentano, and I have the 6 best players in all of Limbo here with me. Hi, everybody. Say hi.
Hi.
Promise to get you guys back to your own planes by the end of the night. We had a fantastic episode last time. There was one little thing that I forgot to mention at the end of that big fight is that everyone is now level 4. Congratulations. Everyone is climbing the ladder. Getting there. You're basically gods now.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Toss us a few more. We'll see how we do.
Increase that stat by 1.
But now that our levels have been chosen, new spells picked, and feats added, we're going to go ahead and get into our newest episode. Last time, our ragtag heap of heroes were set face to face with the Tartarucci in the middle of some sort of ceremony turned fight. Thankfully, you were able to fight your way out of the chaos, and though the cult were armed with a monstrosity, beastly creature, Harmony was able to cast suggestion and send it outside of the lighthouse to sit in detention for a short time. You made some pretty startling discoveries. First, that this cult is more or less not a cult, or rather it didn't start that way. You were able to subdue the Pontifex and learn that he was not so much a cult leader as a bit of a charlatan, a figurehead, a con man using the cult as a sort of recruitment tool to gather test subjects for his manufactured version of lifeblood, something that he's been trying to replicate from the original inside the nest, the metal box that you currently have held within Sledgehog. You also learned that the nest and whatever is inside it was discovered by Selka, the very same researcher, Harmony, you have been searching for, and now seems to have gotten swept up in this whole cult thing. While Selka may have been able to escape, Harmony, you found her old traveler's pack with a few maps of the Lost Woods inside, with specific locations kind of noted on them. Seems to be a location that only Selka knows about, so a clue as to where she might have gone. But with all of that, knowing how sensitive this whole thing may be, realizing that the authorities and the law may not be able to help in this sort of situation, you took it upon yourselves to become the second law, in case the first one can't do the job. And as your first act of heroism as the second law was to detonate a massive explosion and to blow something up.
Hey, we blew up a drug den, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's
You're welcome.
of all the things to blow up. On
You're
And the
welcome
town's
for it
sewage
elsewhere.
system.
They figured it out before they had
Yeah.
the sewage system.
Yeah, my conscience is clear.
The 6 of you are just like walking, able to get out of the lighthouse through the sewer system, and you are able to emerge from the pipes far beneath the lighthouse cliff edge. And it's only maybe 5 so minutes of walking along the coast back from those big sewer pipes towards elsewhere is the entire sky is suddenly lit in a flash of red, and a massive explosion, a good 120 feet above you guys, erupts, and a massive explosion tears through the side of the cliff and bursting up and destroying that lighthouse completely. This huge, massive, just like burst of explosion leaves this sort of lingering reddish cloud that kind of occasionally sparks and crackles above the city before it starts to dissipate on the wind.
I think that was your second best explosion, Nik-Nak.
Tem's monocle just pops out of his eye on the chain. It's like hanging there.
Just that, like,
do that?
Oh, good. It looks like it's dissipating. That's good. That's good.
That was so... Oh my... That was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Me
But
too.
the teal clouds got swallowed up by the Arcanum, so that's probably a good thing.
And
It's a little pretty.
And it means that most of that was probably destroyed
kinda
then,
pretty,
for
yeah.
sure.
overall,
Horrifying,
good outcome.
but pretty.
Where are we gonna?
I don't think we
I
can
think we
stay
should
here
get
after
far
that.
away.
I don't think we can
should
stay
leave.
here
We should
after
leave.
that.
Let's go.
We should make like a carrot and split.
You kind of start to see little, basically, as the rubble starts to settle, the clouds start to dissipate. There are little tiny little rivers of that teal liquid kind of trickling down the side of the cliff, eventually kind of dissipate into the grass, rocks, and the ocean.
Are we? I'm imagining that it's Port Elsewhere, and the lighthouse, and kind of where we are is like to the west.
Yes.
So should we head maybe inland a bit and kind of start heading towards the Lost Woods? Maybe. I mean, if there's these places marked on her map, that's probably where she's gonna go next.
It's the only lead we seem to have.
We arrived at this place in the early evening. So the total time this has all taken was what, an hour, 2 hours ish. So
It's
sort of,
middle of the night.
it's dark.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's close to like maybe 1,
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning.
I suggest we travel overnight to make distance between ourselves and
Maybe
this place,
keep off the roads a little bit.
and then find a place to camp,
Yeah.
hide away during the first part of the day.
Yeah. We
There's
can
definitely
early
not follow
morning.
the rail.
Maybe head inland and start kind of trying to get past the city, find somewhere to camp.
We can follow the coast.
Are we,
I
are
think
we
we have to
heading
walk on
toward
the
the
beach
woods?
past the-
Is that
the city.
a destination that we think makes sense, or
I think so.
I think so.
If we go along the coast, we'll just be walking along the beach right in front of the city, because we're like, and if we're going east.
Little funny, we're trying to
Towards
find something in
stuff.
Lost Woods. So I guess we're gonna have to use this map to find this little location.
Well, if that's where you all want to go.
let's head in that direction. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, he didn't seem to know of any other safe house or anything, so presumably she's going at least back into the Lost Woods. Maybe she has something there.
We should travel
better than we
overnight in
got.
case they send out people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
as
want to be
quickly
anywhere
away from
nearby.
here as possible.
Yeah.
Does everyone have all their stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything-
I carry
Okay.
everything with me.
Okay. Well, we can.
Maybe when we get to the next city or town, I'll just mail back my the rest of my project.
And we'll take care of the library books that we borrowed as well too. You know.
Yeah,
We'll-
the
I'm-
interlibrary loan.
I'm
We'll
sure-
just give them back at a
I
different
thought you
location.
said that you
Yeah.
were definitely gonna give those back.
We
But
are.
they can.
We are.
We'll give them
Yes.
to a different location.
Yes.
They
I'm
can give
sure
them to each other.
they're gonna be very disappointed.
Drop them off in the dead of night.
Well,
don't
you
think
know,
it's
when
how
we
we
get to a
actually-
new city
know,
where we're not
right,
wanted.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
And who's to say
We
we
should
won't be coming back here at some point too in the future once things are not as upsetting.
Yeah, once it's proven that we actually helped everybody.
Exactly. We are the good guys.
Of course we are.
We're the good guys. Let's start walking.
Tam, you even say like, we're the good guys, and there's a secondary
Explosion.
More-
Just
More-
behind
more
my
rubble.
head. Yeah.
More of the cliff falls down into the
Or
ocean.
the cliff just crumbles into the ocean. And it's-
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should probably head
Right, because if we're kind of
inward.
like
Yeah, we
should
the
east.
city, so then kind of head inland and then
Yeah, we should head east.
kind
We
of
should,
up
like,
above the
up.
city and then in
Yeah.
east.
We'd be
So
Past
the
the Calvary.
train made it to its destination there.
Is it still
Is
running?
it still going, or is it like, oh, this attack happened, we're shutting this line down for a while?
It definitely seems to have been like everything seems to have been halted or ceased.
Okay.
For the time.
So we could potentially walk along the tracks, which would lead to another civilization or the next point, you know. If we don't want to have to worry about finding our way through the wilderness, or at least keep that as a line of direction.
we passed a town on the way west. Maybe we stop there.
Yes. Do we remember how long it took us when Zakkai and I came from further east toward Port Elsewhere, between Port Elsewhere and Cowrie, the next town?
Cowrie's a few days journey from here on foot. And based on only because you know where it is, Harmony, you would guess that the Lost Woods, like the edge of it, is roughly, depending on travel, roughly a week's journey away.
From where we are now.
On foot.
I have an idea. If we can get to the tracks outside of the city, I could maybe just try to make us a temporary mode of travel that would use the rails.
Oh,
That sounds fun.
What?
You can do that?
How hard can it be? I could at least give it a try.
Sounds
Well,
very hard.
If anything, Nik-Nak can figure it out. The two
But
of
that's
you can
amazing.
certainly figure
What?
it out.
Let's walk. We'll walk inland. Maybe we can find where the tracks have like exited the city. And if the coast seems clear, maybe we can give this a try.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's do it.
And then my question for the DM would be, whatever those things are called that are like the little wheels with the
Hand
like
carts?
brah, 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 brah,
Yeah.
that thing. How much was that cost? Because of performance of creation, I can make any non-magical item that's up to 80 gold. So whatever the slimmest amount of, like, if it was just the wheels and the mechanism, or like if it was like just the wheels
Just
and
the
then
wheels.
and like
And then we just-
the mechanism part, but then we put the
we
wood
just
slats
Flintstone it.
ourselves. Like, we really had to bare bones it.
Gotcha. Excellent question. Never thought I'd have to price out
Lisa.
one of those railway.
Because what
Is
is
it?
it?
It's a hand cart, right?
Hand cart, yeah.
Yeah.
So, because what is it, like, one gold is like $500 or something?
What?
Yeah.
In this economy,
Yeah, no, that's. I'm pretty sure that's kind
In
of roughly-
Elverin, a gold is closer to like $100.
That still seems
a
like
lot.
You were renting that room for $1, $2.
200
Oh,
miles an hour.
sorry, yeah, that's not.
Like $10
I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah, gold's closer to a gold closer to like,
for-
$10.
$10.
that's actually legit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all supply.
In a private bar? People? For,
Yeah,
There was no
a
bottle
private
service.
VIP room in a bar.
Quick asterisk to everyone watching. This is definitely a homebrew campaign.
Yeah.
Definitely using the basic 5e rules as kind of a ground book, but yeah, just put it in the comments. We'll see.
We're having fun.
Some other nerd.
Second
could do
law,
the math
second
on
rules.
this. Yeah.
Everything's made up anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say then, in that case, Harmony, you would be able to feasibly construct a version of that contraption with materials leading up to that mount. So you'd basically be able to craft it, and it would be, literally only be able to craft what is absolutely necessary to make this thing function.
So, like, the metal parts, we would need, like, to get some wood to put the floor for us to stand on, kind of thing.
The kind of wheels and the axle contraption,
Yeah.
like the actual like pump or whatever it actually uses, that you kind of would be able to form into creation.
Yeah.
Everything else you would have to add it to.
Is this faster than walking?
It's definitely faster than walking. Let me give it a try. We'll see. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. We walk that direction. Do we get there? Do you guys want to go towards the train tracks?
At least to point us in the right direction, I
Yeah.
think, so we would
The
know. Even
train
if we don't.
stops in Cowrie, so, I mean, if we roughly follow the tracks, that's where we'll get next.
And that's what Nik-Nak and I did for a bit. Followed the tracks until
Yeah.
we found the train. So it's worked before. Why not?
Unless someone has some other maybe magical means of propelling us, and then I could make just the wheels and a platform probably be a little easier.
I don't know if Sledgehog would be able to push all of us, but you could try. Yeah, I don't think so.
Why don't
I
we
can
just
give it a
try
shot.
with it?
It's probably worthwhile us also scouting ahead, which I'm happy to do on foot, just so we don't run into unwanted.
Yeah, I can
Others.
try to keep up.
Well,
Well, this is gonna be quite a walk. We don't want to be separated too much.
No, I mean just scout ahead, check back,
Mm.
just to keep
Yeah.
an eye out for.
Is Slink always an octopus, or can Slink be a bird or something like that?
Cannot fly.
Mm.
Can only slide.
Okay.
But sometimes they take the form of a cat.
Maybe they can scout ahead, and I'll try to see if I can make us
They're very slow.
a cart.
They're very slow.
I'll help where I can.
Yeah, whatever you can't create, I can maybe help
Well,
fashion something.
Yeah,
I'll probably
I
just
can-
be able to make the metal parts. We might need some wood, some boards or something for us to stand on, and
I can do that.
maybe you guys find those, and I'll see what I can
We
do.
don't need wood as long as they can hold stone. I can shape some stone to be a platform.
Oh,
Wow.
perfect.
Probably. All right.
Everyone's magic
do I
is so
remember-
interesting.
Your stone or
From
wood?
when Zakkai and I came
definitely
in
stone.
the other direction,
Hmm.
how
Definitely stone.
much traffic is there traveling daytime, nighttime from our journey? Like, is it? I mean, I understand that we were headed toward a place where lots of people were going, so we probably ended up encountering.
Absolutely.
But
Not only is Port Elsewhere already a big trade hub, so there's a lot of traffic coming in and out regularly from Port Elsewhere. The especially the like roads are pretty, as for the few miles kind of outside of the city, are pretty heavily traveled. As you kind of get further out, it dissipates and people tend to go in different directions. But it's and with such a big event having happened recently, it's a heavily trafficked area.
and people tend not to travel at night, or they do travel at night.
It depends. People prefer not to, just for safety. Because again, in Abenthal, the cities and established like locales in Abenthal are very well built up. It's the sort of in between
It's kind of
them
wilderness.
is very wilderness and untamed.
And does the train track follow the path near the main road, or is it in a different?
It hugs it relatively closely. Sometimes it will kind of drift off naturally to avoid like rock formations or some sort of natural landmass, but they tend to stay relatively close.
We may not want to travel on the tracks if it is visible from the road.
We also might only want to travel at night.
At least
Yeah.
while we get away from the
Mhm.
city.
Well, okay. We can
So
just walk through the woods then.
yeah, let's hope it.
Makes sense. The
Oh, no.
constables of Port Elsewhere might have sent out word that to look out for us.
That's smart.
Possible.
All right. Wow.
Start walking. Does the little heels keep sinking into the into the grass?
A little bit of a wobbly harmony out front.
As I follow behind her, I'm just gonna kind of like subtly be like hardening the ground under her heels.
Oh, as she goes.
Yeah,
Okay.
just give her a little extra
There
support.
we go. I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
It's more about the toes, I think. It's more just have to. You're not really using the heels. You're just kind of
Wow.
standing on your toes, I guess.
That's,
Maybe they thought it was like a calf workout or something when they were all wearing them. Anyways.
we all look down at her bare feet.
Yeah, I was like, those are nice boots.
Everyone looks down at their bare feet.
She's picturing like adventurers in stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, they must have done it on purpose, I guess.
If Bryce Dallas Howard can do it in Jurassic Park, then you can do it here.
She ran fast enough.
She did.
I guess we're just walking.
Off we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now, yeah.
Pressing
Like
on
along
through
the
night.
tracks, roughly, or
Maybe like perpendicular.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we
Following
have
the
a
direction,
central
but off.
parallel to the tracks,
Yeah.
but like in the woods.
Yeah, parallel.
But not
Yeah.
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah.
They can be in there.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
once we get further away, we could use the tracks more. But I'm worried we're going to be too visible.
Yeah.
The natural, you find it pretty easy. The natural terrain on the immediate kind of outskirts of Elsewhere, there are like patches of kind of like temperate forest and whatnot, lots of like shrubbery and things that you can use as natural kind of camouflage or kind of ways to avoid being seen. As the night kind of goes on and you're getting, after walking for quite a while, it does start to thin out. A few miles outside of Elsewhere, it does sort of like fade into its grasslands. tall grasslands with the kind of rolling hills and the occasional like outcropping of like rocks or little patches of forest here and there, but it's primarily just tall grass for miles and miles and miles as far as you can see.
So
We just
travel until daybreak and then rest.
Yes, I think as soon as dawn, we set up camp. I'm pretty tired. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tired.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when it gets, I mean, I'll keep a lookout, and I think we'll all be
Yeah, aware.
aware.
Yeah.
But as we get sort of closer to as the light breaks, I'll start looking for a possible camping spot, like a copse of trees or a hollow or something.
Make a survival check.
That is 13.
13. After some scouting and some scoping out, the local hideaway talent, you're able to kind of. There's a part where there's the tracks are sort of on. I don't know what they call it, but it's almost like a small narrow hill that's long that they sort of make for tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure what it's called. A little embankment that they put tracks on.
Yeah.
You're sort of go down from that a little bit down the slope, and off the road there is a sort of like patch, a small area, maybe only an acre or two of like small forest that you think is, oh yeah, this is a pretty good area. It's out of line of sight for places. It's very dipped down, so no one can like see it past the train or the thing that the tracks are on.
Yeah.
Embankment, whatever you want to call that. I know that's primarily water related.
It's not perfect, but perhaps this place for
Want to lie down?
prying eyes to rest and talk a bit, perhaps.
This is great. Thanks, Anara.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Tired.
Yeah, I'd like to sit down.
Oh gosh.
As soon as you find that place, immediately Sledgehaw kind of like rolls up to it and kind of doesn't even go into his like ball form. He does that kind of like tired animal, just like lay out on its stomach.
Yeah,
And
split.
just like split its arms and legs out in both directions, and kind of like sputter like as little like smoke kind of drifts out of his little smokestack, and the lights in his eyes they still are blue, and they like just dim a little bit to like a duller like bluish, almost purple, as he also experiences exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. Low battery.
I guess once we've sat down, then I'm going. So the scrolls and stuff that I found, though, the maps, are they like different kind of pieces? Like you kind of have to almost like puzzle piece them together to see the whole picture of it?
Definitely like that, but all the maps that you find are definitely incomplete. Almost as if they were just able to map out certain areas, so it's difficult to kind of like imagine where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are easier, kind of like solving a puzzle. Like, oh, this is clearly an edge or the edge of a forest. It goes on and you can kind of determine, oh, this is a western edge of the forest or whatever. A lot of them are sort of just like empty puzzle pieces that you can imagine go here or there. Some of them you do line up and they do seem to match, but a lot of them are very just kind of random little pockets that have been mapped out.
Can I just start trying to like puzzle it, and the ones that are obvious, like I want to make my own like copy that's like a large copy of all of it. So then the pieces that like are more obvious, I'll just like write them straight on there of like the final version, and then the ones that I'm not quite sure about, I just want to make little pieces like the same type of style so that they're not like on the master map. They're just like a copy of the piece, so that I have kind of a copy of what I have.
Got you. That's clever. Good.
And then, yeah, and then I would spend whatever time. I can use my Song of Creation to make myself a little desk. So I kind of sit there for a minute and take out my lyre and kind of make a nice little song, and then a little copy of my desk at school in my room is my little student desk, pops up, and then I'll work on my my copies of the stuff.
It'll take you a little bit for the remainder of the evening, but absolutely, definitely set up your desk almost as if it were untouched. That just poofed it right from your dorm room right here. While Harmony's working, what is everybody else doing?
Can I attempt to forage for some food, possibly any cures, perhaps?
Absolutely, make a nature check.
I'll probably help him do that.
Make an advantage.
Can
I was
or
going to approach you
can I
because
make
you
that a
can
survival or
identify-
anything?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh,
survival.
okay,
have
okay.
the ring from his.
I'll have Sledgehog help him do it.
Sledge, you're sending.
You can learn the properties of an
I got-
object
I
just by
know.
studying it for an hour.
Yeah, I felt that too, but I
Jesus.
figured quicker is probably better if we're all trying to go to sleep.
You send Sledge out to help. He does not move.
Yeah.
You just see that you like nudge Sledge a little, and he doesn't move at all. And you're like, battery must be out. And you kind of leave him to him, and one eye just kind of waits till you're gone, and then closes back up. He does not want to go forward.
I know we're all tired, but Nik-Nak, do you think you could just take a quick look at? I found this in his drawers, the former
Yeah,
Pontifex, the former Pontifex's desk.
Sure, what is it?
It's a little ring I found.
Oh.
It's corked up here. Is there any like liquid inside it or anything? What is it? It's just an empty, but it's hollow with a cork in it. Okay. The ring. I don't know if it's magic or not, but it seemed to be part of his whole office setup there. Something special. So
Yeah,
take
sure.
a look.
Let's give it a look. All right. What have we got?
I'll sit down. Spend 10 minutes casting Identify.
You identify as a vile ring. You can add it to your inventory, Tim, but I'll just read it out to you. The ring is made of glass and has a cork stopper, as if it were the set gemstone of the ring. You can unstopper the ring, no action required, to magically transform it into a small glass bottle. The bottle holds up to 1 ounce of liquid. The mouth of the bottle ring and the cork are both the same kind of 1/2 inch wide. So as soon as the cork is put back, it kind of goes back into a small glass ring, which is now the color of whatever liquid is inside it. Once the vial is stoppered, it magically returns to its ring form. Anything contained by in the vial magically fits within the ring while it is transformed.
Very cool.
Well, I think he must have been using this to maybe keep some of the lifeblood on him or something like that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I was hoping for something maybe a little bit with more answers to what he was up to, but can't hurt to have. So, thanks. I appreciate that. I know we're all tired. I'm gonna prop up, literally I've got my tent, and then I have my 4 poles and a piece of fabric that I just boom, boom, and lean up against a tree underneath there, and as I'm getting it all set up, just kind of if anyone needs to shelter under here too, there's a little bit more room. I know I'm pretty large, but in case it rains or if we want shelter from the sun during the day as we rest, anyone's welcome.
I'm just
Thanks, Tim. I'll take out a length of metal chain and start casting alarm around all of us, and then I'll start to dig a little bit of a hole that I'm just gonna cover myself in dirt as a little bed for myself.
Zakkai's gonna saunter over to Harmony's desk.
Please.
I'll be. I am going to use the ink that Zakkai got me to first of all dismiss and then redraw a cat version of Slink as a tattoo over the course of 3 hours while I'm just sort of sitting quietly.
In your experience, no roll required, but just asking Cleo, how skilled is Anara at drawing cats?
Really good.
Oh.
She has proficiency with calligraphy, and it's very abstract, hexagonal kind of pattern that is more like a iconic cat. That was the same as the kind of squid. It didn't look like a squid. It just looked like kind of hexagons in a vaguely squid-like shape. So it doesn't look. Yeah, it's very abstract. It doesn't really look like a cat. I
Absolutely.
think I have a picture of it somewhere, but I'll find it. I don't
No.
know. So I'll just sort of sit cross-legged in a corner and do that for the first few hours of the break.
Hi. Didn't see you there. What are you working on?
With my desk
Yeah.
in the field,
Where did you get a desk?
I created it
You can
magically.
can you just create anything?
Yeah. I mean, well, up to like 80 gold's worth right now is about the most I can kind of
That's specific.
pull out. Well, you know, it's you don't question how it works. You know? I'm still.
We should all take that upon ourselves.
The law of
I-
mass and transmutation clearly.
Don't question it.
Right. I'm sure with a little more study, I can start to make kind of bigger, more complex things, but that's about the rough estimate of what I can create right now with just my lyre and maybe a few other instruments.
It's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Do you need help?
Do you know how to write maps?
You try.
Why don't you try copying this one? I'll just like get like one of the pieces and then a blank piece of papers to like make a copy of like one of the chunks that I don't know.
All right.
Here's a quill
Oh, excellent.
and the ink. And
Oh,
sorry I
right.
only made one chair because I only have one chair at school, so I just made one chair.
That's
Um,
that's okay.
okay.
I
But
can,
there's room, so
I can make a chair too. You know.
how?
I'm just gonna kind of like raise from the ground, just like a block of stone, and I'm just gonna sit on it. You know,
How? Yeah. That I mean
it sounds nice.
there's no
but-
back support, but that's pretty good.
behind me, a little bit taller stone.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's very important, you know, if you're going to be sitting for a while and like you want to ergonomics are more important when, like for long study sessions, you know.
I don't have that issue usually.
You didn't go to school?
No, that's not. That wasn't much of an option for me. I'm gonna start to try to draw it.
Why?
But
School's great.
where I come from, it's less of a obligation. At least the way I grew up.
But you still know magic of a sort. But you said you didn't really know how to, like, where it comes from.
Not really. I mean, maybe it's magic. It doesn't feel like magic. It feels physical to me. If that
Like
makes
you
sense.
just know how to do it.
Yeah, like I'm moving the earth. It feels like, at least. Maybe it's just complicated magic, but I don't know. I just do it.
Well, sorcerers are just born with the magic that they have, and there's no external source, not like clerics where their power comes from a deity, or mine, I can shape sound in a way that creates effects that I want. Warlocks, your power comes from a patron, but sorcerers, it just comes from yourself. Maybe that's you.
Maybe. I can't really do other things, though. Like, I can't send out, like, fire and do effects like you can, or like Tem can.
No one can do everything. Well, I mean, I guess kind of wizards can sometimes, but it takes them so long to copy all their spells down. They're even more particular about their books than I am. They're really tiresome, and that means that's a lot coming from me.
That is a lot coming from you.
But, that's why groups are good, because everybody's skills balance each other out, and we all are good at different things.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty cool group we got here. Didn't really expect this to turn into a continued thing.
But it's so fun. It's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna solve this. I mean, I don't want to say crime. I'm sure Selka. I'm
There's some
sure there's
crime going
something.
on,
I'm sure there's some reason. We just need to get to the bottom of what's going on and stop this kind of cult, or I guess black market sale of magic power, raw magic materials.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe...
It seems the potential for this is great, but also horrific.
I'm not really familiar with, black market dealings. Maybe Nik-Nak and Basil have come in contact with other people that would know about that.
Yeah, sure they have.
How's your map looking?
Oh,
How does it look?
looks like it's like chicken nugget.
I think
That's-
from the looks of it,
You're holding the quill like this.
Yeah, fully. I keep like tearing a hole in the paper.
It's, it takes a lot of practice. I've done a lot of writing, and since I was young, and go to school, and so you're getting the hang of it. I think. I maybe hold maybe kind of, not with your whole hand, but like just the first few fingers, but then put it like this. No, that's like a knife. No, not like a knife. Not like a knife.
It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone does things in their own way. You can hold the quill any way you would like.
Like, just because I wasn't trained on how to hold a quill.
You're good at fighting and
Quill is how
sand
you
stuff,
use it.
so that's good.
Have you always been so into this stuff?
Maths, school,
Yeah.
writing.
All of the above.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up reading a lot of stories, and I guess kind of writing some songs. Not like, not trying to like write songs, but just more trying to mimic the sort of lyricism of like a poem, something along those lines, like, because there's different styles.
Of
And,
course.
and depending on the time period and the location and the context, there's different ways of writing. So it was more like a practice in trying to write down what I did for the day. Like I played outside today with the neighbor, but in the style of ancient, New Haven pre-Republic.
I have no idea what you just said, but I mean, just the last part. I was paying attention.
Yeah. Well, and I read a lot, I guess, because I lived with my grandfather, and he had a lot of books. Well, he has a lot of books. He's still alive.
Oh, not your parents. Sorry.
They're alive. They're alive. Yeah. I haven't seen them in a while because I went to school and my dad travels a lot, so I see him every so often. He's like a diplomat, kind of.
A diplomat.
In a way.
Oh.
Not like in a more like
So, are you important? I mean, I don't. To like.
Well-
Societally,
one day my contribution to the world's knowledge will be very important. No, I mean, he's not like a politician or anything. He's more like an advocate, and so he travels around trying to talk to other influential people, nobles, that sort of thing, to try to promote certain like social causes and
Interesting.
stuff like that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, I guess.
So it was mostly me and my grandfather, and books, and a bunch of instruments. He had a lot of instruments. So that's where I practiced all my instruments.
That explains some things.
And I guess, growing up until I went to school, and then I made more friends. Mostly books.
Well, it's coming in handy for all of us. So you're good at what you do.
Thanks. You're good at the sand stuff too, even though you're not, even if you don't know where it comes from. We can always try to work on that too, if you want. Just to see if you can try doing different kinds of things, or maybe you can meditate with Anara or something and see if you can locate the source of your power.
Busy right now.
Maybe tomorrow.
We'll have plenty of time.
Well, I
But
guess.
that's not a terrible idea. You know.
During that last couple of moments, Zakkai, when there was the conversation turns more towards like where it comes from. No, there's this part of you that kind of feels tingly, incomplete a little bit, and that satchel of sand on your hip that you always have with you feels really heavy just for a few moments. Like it just feels a bit heavier than it normally does, and you kind of adjust yourself, and then weirdly it's right back to just as light as it was before. But just for a few moments, it was awkwardly, and only you could kind of like, you know exactly how much sand is in that pouch at all times.
Yeah.
And it just suddenly feels a lot heavier than it would normally. But as soon as you shift your weight, it's normal.
I guess you can't make a rock cushion.
Yeah, it's just a little uncomfortable. But here, is that helpful?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks pretty good. I'll probably just make just a couple little adjustments, but you did a lot of the groundwork for me, which is very helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you. How long does the rock chair last?
I mean, if I leave it alone for a while, it'll just kind of fall apart after like an hour.
How long have I had the desk up so far? Like an hour or so?
Yeah, rough a little bit. Getting to an hour.
Oh, okay.
You'll get like, 50-ish minutes.
Yeah. I've probably got another hour or so left of the desk before it disappears and I fall on the ground and all the papers fly everywhere.
Oh. Can you feel it coming? Like, can you maybe not?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, it was the magic of my creation, and so it just kind of comes with this sort of like inherent like clock mechanism where I can just feel that it's probably gonna run out soon.
Oh, okay.
That kind of feeling.
Yeah. Well, I won't distract you any longer, but you're welcome.
Thanks.
For the
Yeah.
Cool.
It is absolutely useless.
There's holes all in it.
There's a bunch of holes in
I'll see
it.
if
Spill
Tem-
ink on the corner.
I'll just have maybe Tem can mend the holes up.
Yeah,
And
then it'll be perfect.
Yeah, and then I can totally use it.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thank you, Zakkai.
Nice.
Any other evening activities?
Tem's like crawling underneath his little fabric kind of setup there, and are you just in a hole in the ground?
I'm still slowly making it.
Okay,
Yeah.
a bit. Nik-Nak, do you? I don't know if you're gonna bury yourself or what the deal is, but if you need to like have something over your hole, you can dig it over here next to me, so it will be covered in case something happens.
Oh. Yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense. And I'll scoot over to him and start digging.
Yeah.
Is this normal kobold behavior? I've never really studied kobold culture much.
We like it underground, but it's mostly because it's kind of cool once you actually dig into the earth, and then if you like cover yourself with it, then it's almost like a blanket. You know, here feel, and
I
I'll
mean,
have him.
I have an actual blanket. If you would like a blanket,
I kind of like the dirt.
I respect that. That is totally valid. It again, is this like, were you raised around other kobolds? Is this typical behavior?
Yeah. You know, pretty typical. Grew up in the tunnels, over by the Scorched Plains. If you know where that is. Yeah. Grew up amongst kobolds. Have their little society. There's some of them are still there. Actually, I haven't been back in a while.
And do you govern yourselves? how does society work there? This is something that interests me.
As soon as he says like govern yourselves, his face will become like very serious and
Not exactly. I would like it if we governed ourselves, but typically kobolds have a tendency to sort of revere dragons. And since I was fresh out of the clutch, there was a dragon that's governed us, shall we say.
I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. My sympathies.
I appreciate that. But, part of the reason I left.
I can imagine that is extremely difficult, and it always makes me sad to hear about people who don't have their own agency or ability to dictate their lives.
Me too. That's me too. I miss home. But my sentiments about it are not exactly shared by a lot of my kind. I mean, some of them agree, some of them don't. But this sort of reverence that they have, I think, borders on a little bit of delusion. I don't think that they're out for our well-being. A lot of my brethren disagree. But, well, let's just say a reason that I'm out here is to sort of sway their opinion.
Tem is like fully just like looking up at like the fabric as it's kind of like rippling in the wind a little bit. You see underneath his monocle just a little bit of wetness there. A little bit of an elephant tear. I think we have a lot more in common, and unfortunately a bit of some difference as well, Nik-Nak, at least in terms of where we come from. I would love to hear more about your life and your culture, and if you would let me, maybe someday we can try and make a change for that. I know that's silly, and I have no reason to want to, step in where I shouldn't be, and I won't if you don't want me to. But I've been learning and trying to grow into understanding what makes people want to subjugate others, and why this terrible power dynamic must exist in this world. Always bigger, stronger people trampling on those who can't defend themselves. It's very tragic, and I would love to learn more. But for the time being, thank you for sharing that. I was not expecting to hear all of that.
Yeah, well, dragons are assholes.
I can imagine that. I've heard I've never met a dragon, but I have heard that they can be very tyrannical, and again,
They squish
big guys picking on little guys. Yeah, absolutely.
For no reason.
It feels like they're just trying to use whatever they can to exert control, and that just feels wrong. And I while I can't relate to you exactly, I do know a little bit of how that situation can feel.
Did you grow up around a shit dragon?
In a sense, if the dragon is more of a, do you know what a metaphor is?
Yeah.
You know what metal's for?
Yeah.
damn, I should have said
It's for building.
low charisma.
I would say I unfortunately am a bit of a part of what you would consider a dragon. Not by choice, but by happenstance. It's not a pleasant thing to think about, and I haven't been around my society in a while, but where I come from, we unfortunately are, I'd say, on the opposite side of your situation.
You're a leader among your people?
Nara,
I've just been sitting tattooing
Yeah.
but listening to this conversation.
I forgot that you can hear while you're doing your activities.
It doesn't take me years.
I don't talk about this often just because it's not something that I feel affects my day-to-day life, and I'm quite distant from it now, but I am basically in line to rule my people. where I come
Whoa.
from.
A prince?
Yes. There's a chance it could not be. I have 2 younger brothers, but I'm the oldest of the ruler of our society and goes through the male line. So,
Wow.
unfortunately, we are, while they would say, a benevolent people, benevolence can masquerade under great atrocities. Loxodons, I don't know if you know much, but thought of as very stoic, serene, unflappable, also very harsh, also very strict. They don't really like when you step out of line. And
Are you supposed to be traveling?
they know I'm gone. I'm supposed to be in school, which I technically still am. I'm enrolled. I'm at Laurelhold University, but I was sent there to learn to lead, to be a next great leader of our society. And a funny thing happens when you get exposed to the world beyond where you're from and the messages you've been fed, and it's definitely opened my eyes past couple of years. But they don't really know that I'm out and about. They think I'm still at school, learning, trying to be.
Wouldn't be happy, I assume.
No. I was supposed to go and be a politician, learn how to, for lack of a better term, influence and coerce others to my whims and bring that back home to continue the mission of my people and make them bigger, greater, put our values onto others so that they may experience our peace as well. But that unfortunately is the great paradox of peace there, that to spread it to others, you often have to destroy it. So I apologize that I'm just a bit of a, you just hit a sore spot hearing your story.
No, I get it. Leadership can be kind of a funny thing. If you've got people that count on you, though, it's not necessarily bad.
No, and I'm learning that. These past few years have also been very transformative in finding religion as well. I'm sure you have all noticed where my arcane power comes from is not of this world, and just happened to coincide with me having a great spiritual change and awakening of my own. So I've got some powers on my side now, and hopefully some more people that I can rally to my, what I can hope to be better rule and cause if I decide to go back and make a change at home. So.
Where in the world are your people from?
Well, we aren't that far from it now, and the Freedlands, you know, there's archipelago of islands off close to I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name. What is
The Sylvan Dynasty.
Sylvan Dynasty. Off the shore of the Sylvan Dynasty, in between that and the Freedlands, there's a couple of island chains that have a wide array of societies
Over
and
the
life.
ocean?
Yes, on an island called Zonir is where my people live, and
I've never left this continent.
it's
Hardly travelled at all, in fact.
it's a beautiful island, and has again played host to many different peoples over the years. And the Loxodons decided that it was theirs, and all those people should experience the wonders of their society, let's say. But
Everyone, including non-Loxodons?
yes,
Ah,
a great piece.
I see.
But we don't have to think about that now. That's far and away from where we are in this moment and the journey that we're on. But again, someday I'm on a bit of a journey learning about ways that people live and how they're ruled. I guess while I didn't formally study that, I'm now out in the world doing a bit of independent study.
Well, you know, being, I guess, a group that we are now, we can help you.
Someday I know I will return. And when that day comes, I'm sure having support of those who may want to see a change would be quite useful.
Yeah. Anara and Tem, just do me a favor if you would. I'm happy to, you know, aid you all in anything that you may need. If you happen to find any scrap metal just lying around, I'm sure just toss it over.
I did find this, and then the alchemist toolkit that I found from the desk. I was like, I don't know how much metal is in here, but it is alchemy tools that might be of some use to you. It was the Pontifexes.
Look through it for metal stuff.
Absolutely, roll it out, and there's like, I mean, it's primarily like alchemist stuff with a lot of glassware. It's a lot of, but there are like metal like tweezers and holders, and there's plenty of like smaller but little metal tools and implements in there.
Start throwing it into the bag. Actually, glass is pretty good too. I could use some glass.
Great.
I need glass. I need
Whole, or it's just shattering, so I don't know.
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm about done with this ink vial.
Oh, great. Whoop. Thank you. Yeah, anything we come across, if it looks like it's not nailed to the floor, or even if it is, we can probably pry it off and grab it. That would be a great help. Great help to me.
I will keep my eye out.
Thanks.
Yes, of course. And yeah, my tent is always open, or what would you call this? I guess lean to. Yeah, I don't want to. Didn't really have a pavilion.
Talking about like the metal stuff, Nik-Nak will just get like a sudden, I got an idea. And he's gonna go over to Harmony and just like put his hand on a sheaf of paper. Can I take this? He's literally gonna start pulling it away.
Is it one that has writing on it?
No, it's blank. It's blank.
Just need it for a minute or
Sure.
two. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Scurry back over to the lean-to, and then take out like a little quill, and he would like to start making a schematic to make a spring-loaded contraption that he can attach to the bear trap.
Okay.
So that like the design, he's thinking like somewhat like the catapult spell. I'll need a twist of wire, a lot of tension here, and an angling device, a lever over here, magical runes on the spring to make way for the weight of the trap. So he's just gonna start trying to work on a way to make the bear trap fire forward.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
However long that may take. If it's not, I probably won't complete it now, but yeah.
Eventually, like you say the the niche is always open, and then just after a second of quiet, Nik-Nak just kind of like and zips away, comes back with a paper and kind of just like does the little like dog circle, walking a couple times before plopping down.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm working on something.
I can see that.
Well, that last fight, bear traps are very heavy.
I saw it didn't go very
It
far.
didn't go very far at all. Did not do what it was supposed to do, so I'm going to improve it.
You've got quite the mind. Just like a kind of like impetuous, like my monocle, just like, oh, I see.
Little math problems on the side, little like, not to scale stuff, yeah.
Amazing. I'll say that during that time, and sort of not too far, just a slightly ways distant off from the lean-to where you guys are. Basil, I will say that roll a Constitution saving throw for me real quick.
What did you eat?
Let me alone. This is rolling up perfectly for me. 7.
7.
What?
It is incredibly difficult for you to fall asleep.
Oh no.
It's just there's something
Bad
about
carrots.
this place is just it's weird to you how easily everyone else can sort of like sit down and relax. You're confused and you're waiting for the rock that you chose for a pillow to grow legs and walk away, or you're waiting for the sky to change color in any kind of second, or you're waiting
just
for
made
that
the sky
tree.
change before.
You're waiting for that tree over there to ask you a question. It's really weird to be in a place where none of this stuff happens. And you just kind of keep expecting it, and every time you try to close your eyes and go to sleep or force yourself to sleep, there's a faint like kind of jolt of electricity, and there's a faint kind of pulse of that shock between your two ears of like kind of multicolored electricity. It's only there for a fraction of a second, but it's just enough to like jolt you. It's like every time you just get close to sleep, someone pokes you with a cattle prod, just a split second there, and it's not painful. It's just a sudden jolt of energy that immediately starts to diminish. But anytime you try to find a moment to that, it kind of jolts in. So I'm curious as to how you handle that.
Oh no, I'm just gonna start like twitching up, and I wanted to see like, Anara, what were you drawing there? It seemed fun. Was it a little cat thing? Where's Squeak? Can I chase him around? I like a little hunt.
New, creating a new appearance for Slink. Be ready in a short while.
Yeah, like an hour.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I'm a little. I can't sleep. I get a little jittery.
And do we see the sparks?
Every once in a while, yeah. There's like a faint little like, again, it's like a little static. It's a fraction of a second that like little bolts that kind of like travels between his ears every once in a while up his arm. You remember seeing in like fights a sort of like multicolored light traveling underneath the fur a little bit, but
Yeah.
it dissipates.
But it's sort of happening once in a while.
Only every once in a while, but you do see it on occasion.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm from the Fae. It's a little strange there. And
Which is
the Fae?
I've heard of it.
Oh, it's it could be a nice place. It's a little bit of a crazy place sometimes. I mean, where I was from, it was kind of nice, and then it was very not nice because it wasn't a nice place. But it's sometimes like trees can talk, and then like butterflies can like sing, and then like the plants are very nice, and then
You're homesick.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I'm sick for home. I really like to go back, and I don't know how to get back to the Fae. I mean,
How did you get from the Fae to here?
I don't know. I showed up in Wants, And I tried to ask people of how to get back or if they knew anything, and nobody knows how. I just
What
showed
were
up in
you
once, and
doing before you?
oh,
Did you just wake up? Were you?
I kind of woke up in once. I kind of escaped into once.
From
I'm from the Fae, and you know, I was from the nice place, and then I was not in a nice place. It turns out, you know, I was actually in a hag's garden, and she caught me. She caught me and my sister, and
the hag is an evil, an unpleasant creature from the Fae.
bad woman, very very evil. She like would just zap me with things and poke me and prod me, and just it was.
How long were you were trapped by her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you escaped and
I
found yourself in Wands.
Did from me and my sister Mint, we got captured together, and she was at one point she got taken away, and then I got really mad about that. We've never been separated before, and it was really hard to see her gone, and I got really mad, and there was a big explosion, and I got out, and fortunately had to take my leg with me. And then I got out, and I kept just crawling out. And the moment I got out, I was in once, without a leg.
Your sister.
I
was
don't know. I'm trying to find her, or at least a way back into the Fae, or anything about her. But
You
You
know,
notice
watch
that-
as Basil gets worked up, there's a
Yeah.
slightly more often occurrence of that kind
Yeah.
of spike. And again, it's has been difficult to notice only because Basil's pretty quick and hasn't drawn too much attention to it. But if you do drift down, one of his legs is indeed kind of cut off at the knee and been replaced with a sort of
This
mechanical attribute that's been affixed onto it. It looks very similar to like a rook chess piece almost.
Okay.
But
And you notice
Nik-Nak
when
made
you-
it for me. It's
when you mention your sister, that definitely seems to land with Anara. That she kind of gets a slightly distant look in her eye, and she's listening still, but you can sort of tell that you've kind of triggered a train of thought in her own mind, maybe, and she's sort of slightly distracted as you. I mean, she's still listening, but you can see that when you mentioned a missing sister, it was
can I insight check?
Yeah.
Like at least a 13.
13.
yeah, I'm not trying to hide anything. I mean, I would say you get a sense that
Like a recognition that like, oh, like looking
when
for
you
something
mentioned,
too.
yeah, missing
yeah.
sibling,
Or like family. Yeah.
that kind of landed in some way. Like, sorry for I know nothing of how to get there, but perhaps back in once.
Maybe, or
If
I
that's
mean,
where you came out, maybe there's a way back in. And
Harmony mentioned that there are some portals maybe in Sylvan Dynasty, or maybe that there's something around there. Or some books to read about it, and
I'm sure if there's a book, Harmony and Tem perhaps would know all about it.
of course, I mean, and I'll figure it out somehow. And you know, Nik-Nak's been so helpful so far, and he's the smart.
Made this.
Yeah, I made ting ting ting. I mean,
One of my better inventions, actually.
I mean, it's impressive. I mean, look over at Sledge. Not quite as impressive as this fantastic. What is it? Hedgehog?
Sledgy.
Sledge, yeah, Sledge is a hedgehog, basically. Yeah, used to have a hedgehog.
Is that how you jump far?
I tried to. It just helps me like a little steam comes out, and I just jump off to the side. Although I don't have the balance yet fully with the same kicks as you do, and I try to like kick with like the bad foot, and then I like topple over, and then I like kick with my like the other foot, and I was like keep like can't do it. It's like you kicked the guy's head off. I just man, if you saw me with both legs, then I could really jump. But this thing's also got a kick to it. I can also just shoot off Eldritch Blast with it too. It's like,
Yeah.
that's at least
Rays
nice.
in
Little...
is a just beam of multicolored and just crackles off into the sky.
That was not me. I don't know what that is.
Do anything like that, but it's just practice. My order taught me how to use this, and I taught the sword and how to look after myself.
What's the order? I mean, so far we only know disorder.
It's the monastery where I lived, I suppose, the last few years. I copied lots of scrolls.
Scrolls
and,
for kicks and punches and swords.
Oh no, that was just
Oh.
the tasks. We had lots of learning. It's how I know my and I point to the quill that I'm using. I know how to write. There's lots of knowledge stored there. They taught me what I know. I not privy to the secrets of what they do there, but they taught me to my abilities, which were more stealth and speed and agility, not really the learning that some of us have, books and mechanics, technology.
That I don't understand either.
Yeah. But I know nothing of magic.
I mean, I only know what the kind of weird stuff I have, but
Aside from this quill, which can create this companion.
Oh, that's really cool. I'd love to.
She's going to be a cat this time.
Ooh, is it faster than the squid or? No.
It just looks like a cat.
Well, that's fun. I'll take a cat. Is it soft or is it more?
Yeah, just the same as the squid. It's basically ink that moves.
Trying to think of like a squishy like flubber cat.
But you can chase her when she's ready.
Oh, that'd be real fun. I mean,
and I can make some tea later that may help you sleep.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's a bit bitter, just so you know.
Carrot tea?
Oh no, I only know how to make one tea.
I'll try, and then maybe teach me some footwork, I guess, too. Help me get this
balance.
Balance.
She stops the tattooing for a second and just stands up on one leg. And like is perfectly still.
Your good leg or your bad
tattooing.
leg?
Like try this. On the good one to start.
Okay. Okay.
Takes time.
I'll get there.
But, sorry to hear about your sister. I am also searching for a sibling.
Oh, a sister or a brother or
Brother.
Oh, that's where is he?
I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I don't know mine either. How are you trying to find yours?
I was in Port elsewhere. I was just looking for a place where trade happens.
Port Elsewhere sounded like a fun name, so
He
got me.
He was taken from my village. Actually, many years ago. I had very few leads. I just figured a place where port, a trade, that, I've heard that humans can be merchandise in some parts of the world.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes, but that is the only lead I had, but I was not able to find out anything there.
Well, I guess we can try to find our family together with this interesting little burrow we have here.
Yeah, that would be a good.
Were you traveling alone or just with Zakkai? How'd you meet him?
We met on the road just before Kauri. We were only traveling a few weeks together, but figured that two people traveling together are less vulnerable.
That's how I felt
in
with
the
3.
ancient world than alone. And Zakkai was also traveling to port elsewhere, apparently because there was just going to be a big party. But
I mean, there was definitely an explosion.
I don't think that was the kind of party he expected. But we had an understanding, looked after each other when bandits and others were nearby. They didn't mess with us.
What's your brother's name?
Loss.
Loss? It's a fun name. Well,
He would be 14 or 15 now.
Oh, it's a younger brother. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope we find our younger siblings.
Yeah.
It's our duty as the elders, right?
Yes.
Yes. Gotta look out for him. I guess we can maybe go back to Corey or see anything else, or we'll find something.
Yeah. Well, they taught me at the order that sometimes the next step on the path is the one that you don't know that you have to take.
I think about it like my sister taught me dragon chess, so it's like the first piece like sets the stage, and then like the second piece really defines the game. So we're really defining the game now, right?
That is interesting. One of the Hexan at the monastery used to play dragon chess.
Oh, we should play dragon chess.
Oh, I don't know how to play.
Oh, well, I can teach you.
Okay. Maybe over some tea when I've finished.
Ooh, that'd be really nice. That'd be really calming.
Tea is a little bitter.
I'll try. At least once.
I'll be done in a few minutes.
Okay. Finish out the task of tattooing Slink to you. Not too much effort, especially as Slink is more amorphous anyway. There's not too much, there's not a lot of coloring inside the lines required, but eventually kind of form it, and just as a test, and because Basil seems very intent on chasing something, eventually kind of Slink slides down the arm and kind of slops off your fingers, lands as a puddle at first before immediately kind of raising up into a sort of a cat shape that kind of very gracefully kind of slings, and it's definitely looks like a sort of silhouette of a cat against some backlighting, but as it moves, it's almost moves like a cat as it steps. Rather than taking a step, it just lifts its leg and then kind of extends to where it needs to.
It inchworms.
Yeah, it's very
and it's not fast. It goes quite slowly, so.
But it's a little bit more nimbly, climby sort of thing, or is it? Okay.
It's still hard to catch.
I'll give it my best.
There he goes. Every time you kind of get it close, it sort of just
give it a big squeeze, and
as you do it flattens into the ground and just becomes a shadow, basically, of a cat that starts to run along the ground almost sideways, as if there were a cat there and there's a shadow, but there is no cat. It's just the shadow.
Oh, Trixie won.
Get him, Hops!
I'm gonna get it eventually. I swear I'll catch it.
And then I'll just take a hunt around for some herbs or stuff that I can use to make it.
Make a nature check for me.
If I see her get up, can I join her to forage?
So I can make the Constitution.
Yeah.
I want to try to find similar to what I bought at the market.
I think nature is intelligence, right? So that's a 2.
2.
Yeah.
No. Especially, you're able to certainly find all manner of
whatever I find, I'm making the tea with that.
More beans can be better.
So yeah, it's gonna be better.
No. you sort of take it upon yourself Anara's foraging? Yeah, I'm gonna do that too and look for poison stuff to make poisons before you're about 15 minutes into it before you realize, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking for.
I don't know what any of this is.
Come back with a bunch of poison ivy.
You feel confident at first because it's something that you are relatively familiar with, but then it's less of a you can't find what you need, and it's more of a you do not know what you're looking at because this is a very different climate than you are used to.
Okay. Yeah, fair
The
enough.
same kind of like plants and stuff do not grow here. So what you're looking for, you're realizing like, oh shit, this is probably not here.
Ah, shit, this is edible.
I don't know what any of this is.
So I'll head back with whatever I found. Make some really bad tea. That
Can she at least roll for tea to see if she makes up for it?
Roll for tea, roll to 20.
Roll for tea.
And then I definitely want to roll for dragon chess.
Yeah, roll for
3.
Great.
Very, yeah.
So I hand you like a heated cup of it's just sort of
You see there's a few leaves and
grey with
twigs.
some leaves,
grass.
twigs.
Ooh, it's warm.
This may help
It's like
us
such hot.
sleep. I'll have some.
You said bitter?
It's not great.
It's awful. Yeah, but I can taste it. It's fine, okay.
Honestly, Elliot as a person would probably drink it.
You probably would.
Yeah.
You probably would.
It's good.
Having
So what
heard
does
their
this piece
conversation.
This one's one of my favorite. It jumps over a piece.
Yeah, so having like listened to their conversation and Hops being someone who I've traveled with for a while, I'm gonna go just reach into Sledgehog and just rummage around for like a little like a little glass ball, might be in like a glass blower's kit or something like that. I'm gonna hold it up to my like muzzle and then just start like whispering words to it, and then I'm gonna go and give it to him and be like, here you go, this might help you sleep, just give it a squeeze before you lay your head down.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What is it?
Give it a squeeze.
Would you like some tea?
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze it right then and there.
So when he squeezes it, it will light up. It'll almost have like a foggy mist in the center of it, and that mist will change to all of the colors that he can see, but very bright, like vibrantly. And then every once in a while, there'll be like a, and it'll sound like what he's told me about the sounds and colors and smells of the Feywild that he can hold on to.
Cute.
That's so sweet.
A fey magic 8-ball, basically.
Yeah, and I can make smells, colors, and sounds on it.
That's amazing.
Cute.
This is so nice.
So cool.
I love this.
Make a little,
It's a little remember all, but for his Feywild stuff.
So you spend the rest of the evening going through the basics of what you can remember of Dragon Chess, trying to teach Anara the kind of the basics while sipping on your twig juice.
Oh, my hot water.
Hot twig water.
Yeah.
It's water with some clothes floating in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yum.
And then all of a sudden you'll just hear, ah! And the desk just like, oh, damn it! Pushed it too far again. God,
I thought you could sense it.
I thought I could get just a little more done before the time ran out, and I got a little distracted.
Can you just do it again?
I'm just like picking up. Not until we sleep.
Oh.
We have to sleep, and then I can do it again. But then we'll be walking. I won't need a desk. Oh, and I'll just pick up all the papers and everything.
I can make you a desk. It won't be as nice.
Well, I only have a little bit more to do. Just this one last one to copy. If you don't mind.
No, not at all. I'm just gonna kind of like stomp the ground and then like push up as these like stone little pillars come out, and then I'm gonna kind of like kick my foot as like a little stone platform kind of like pops itself on top.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
Standing. It's good to stand sometimes too. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
finish.
It goes a little higher.
a little standing desk. Get on. Work your legs a little bit before bed so that you sleep better.
We just walked for hours, but all right. I appreciate your tenacity.
Anything for a good map.
Kind of like make those final additions or additions that you need to make. Everyone else kind of finish your schematics before kind of curling up a little ball at Tem's feet.
I'll honestly probably, like, as I'm doing the schematics, fall asleep while I'm doing it and just sort of lean my head against, like, his leg or something like that.
Tem has taken a quilt out of his pack, and it's like he's fully fully bundled over,
Cocooned in
and then as Nik-Nak kind of falls asleep, just like the little corner of it, he'll just like kick it out over a little bit over, and it's like, I know he likes the dirt, but I mean, he's probably cold.
It's a strange first kind of like camp night together. You've spent a night together before, but it's all been sort of broken up with like fights or being hunted or searching for someone or a grand performance that you need to put on or you're infiltrating a cult. This is the first night that you're able to have like a relaxed night for at least a little bit. Once you're all kind of done with whatever it is you need to do, pretty close to dawn actually, but is when you finally get to sleep. And we'll pick up there next.
Oh, you
Yes! Like
We're becoming
Let's be friends. I put on a little sleep mask before we
Yeah, Tem lotioned up
Fantastic.
before he went.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sleep.
And Nik-Nak put on a mud mask.
Get your sleep rituals. But thank you for joining us, you guys, for this episode of Tales of Terragia. We'll see you next time, and until then, always have someone up for watch during a long rest, because you never know.
What does
that mean? We will see.
We had the alarm spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We're gonna find out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.